that went well. Glad you could join me today. You know, driving a truck. It's pretty lonesome. Let's get this thing delivered. Your mama tells me you're in software. You know, I used to be in software too before I started driving this truck. I enjoyed it. The money was good, the hours were good. Then got too big. You know, everyone had a SaaS. Everyone had an API, everyone had a service, everyone released software. Couldn't just be happy with what they had, they needed more. Fuck off. I had to work with some pretty bad developers back in my day. And it's not just the people making stupid SaaSes, it's like the serious stuff. Payments, regulations, testing. Everyone can be a cowboy developer. Sorry, brother. Let me squeeze in. God bless you, brother. What's the hold up? We're good, I think. Yeah? Yeah. Anyway. I had to use this investment API, and the people making it, they kept changing it. Every fucking week. On a Friday, they would release notes, they would break stuff. Terrible times. And then you had the pressure from your own people too. Hey, why is this broken? Why is it ready? We have to show the client. You know, it's a lot of money. And they wouldn't listen that it's not our issue. You know, there's only so much you can do. Fallbacks, tests, retry mechanisms. We tried it everything. But at the end of the day, when the thing you're using is not trustworthy, like I am, it's all for naught, man. You know, versions are very important. As a customer, I'm just looking to solve an issue. I'm not looking to add more trouble to my system. I'm using our payment provider because I don't want to make my own payment gateway. If your payment gateway doesn't work, it's more issues from my system. I don't want that. It's not very good. I need to be able to plan the versions on my sprint planning and work on good stuff. Don't want to be planning to debug your integration and deal with bugs and updates all the freaking time. It's not just about stability and predictability. Context is important for all software. So, you know, being able to refer to a specific version, it's more context than you're ever going to get by anything that's a live service. And it's not just for me. People working with versions in mind are better devs. It forces you to think, and not a lot of people are forced to think nowadays. Oh, just scale more. Oh, just add this AI. Oh, just do this. But in reality, you just need to think more. What am I releasing? When? For who? I need to support the release. How are we going to gradually release stuff? Those things are important, and they're going to make you a better dev. And you know, not everyone gets versions right. Appreciate the effort though. You know, your product, yeah, it can have a specific version. It's good to have a specific version. But your tooling, why doesn't it follow it? You know, version 7 of your product can always use version 2 of your API. Why do you need to update your API every time you're updating your interface? It's all crap, if you ask me. Also, I think border crossings are supposed to be 50, not 80, but whatever. And you know, when you release versions, they have to mean something. Don't just call it potato, test for Mike. There's lots of systems out there. Just pick one and stick with it. You won't go wrong with semantic versioning. You know, you have your major releases, have your updates, you have your patches. You can maintain them independently. Makes sense. You know, just because you post a small change that introduces a new small root that does a different report, it doesn't mean you have to update the whole damn fucking version. Sorry. It doesn't mean you always need to support all of them. You know, just say this is my long-term support, versions exist for 2 years. Just have some structure to it. Don't have to always support something you released in 2012. The same people working on the project back then are probably not working in your company anymore because they got laid off. And you have to understand, and this is something you need to internalize when you're working in software. Version changes are significant events. It's something you have to plan, it's something that you have to do more testing on. It's not like a simple, oh yeah, I'm just going to update the buckets and that's it. You need to have some strategy behind deprecation. Don't just do it. That goes for new version releases too. Add some tools. The company I worked for before I became a tracker, we started 2 years in advance and we told users this is going away. And as we progressively got closer and closer to the deprecation date, we would introduce more updates, we would introduce some tooling. Fuck! Alright, we didn't flip, that's good. Come on. This was a significant emotional event. So when you put yourself in that mindset that, hey, we're deprecating something in 2 years, it's not something to make you lazy. It's something to make you think about what you're doing. Add some tracking, that's important. Not this tracking, the one where you know how many users are still using your old stuff. If it's a big client, reach out to them. Give them guides, give them tooling, give them support. Customer success is part of your product too. It's not that you just release it, people pay for it and you don't care. As much as the big corporations want you to believe that, oh, it's going to be vendor lock, or it doesn't matter, CIOs buy it, and then everyone else is forced to use it. That thing matters. Because my friend, when you work on something, the bad reputation follows you around like some poop you stepped on. Just because the company you work for might want to reduce standards, it doesn't mean you have to reduce standards too. Take pride in your work. It's a difficult industry and gets even more and more difficult the less free capital we have from venture capital firms. Alright, let's take another job. Alright, we can deliver some carbonated water. Let's go. So why don't I trust software without versions anymore? For all the above reasons, really. You know. It shows a lack of care. I need to understand that the people working on it are doing it because they want to work on it. They have a vision, they have an idea, they're doing it properly. Most of the time, you deal with so many bugs and crap in your own system that I really don't want to have to plan to debug APIs all the time when they stop working. Oh, the package was updated. Great. Let's spend 6 hours working on debugging that and fixing it, instead of working on something meaningful about the product itself. Don't know if you've ever had to debug an external API. It's not fun. Especially one that's not very reliable. Random versions, you do a request and it kills the whole system. been there many times. But as with everything in life, you can't be too extreme. You know, there's exceptions. Sometimes you have to use software. It doesn't offer a version, it's always the latest one, it's a live service. What can you do? There's some stuff like authentication providers, payment gateways, that might not support multiple versions. But then at least it's a sort of area where you trust them to be professionals and do everything else properly. Not break stuff, give you enough of a heads up, migrate away. I would say enough Final Destination moves to not want to be behind a truck like that. Nowadays with all those goddamn SaaS software, sometimes you don't have an option. It's like, this is what you get, this is what you're paying monthly for. You always get the latest and the bestest. You just have to take it. Then you have idiots like Elon Musk. Who flip a truck. Anyway, as I was saying before we got rudely interrupted, you have cowboys like Elon Musk who buy something and they really don't care. Great example, Twitter. They changed their APIs, they reduced access, they made it more expensive. He did everything that good software practices tell you not to do. Somehow, X still works. People are paying for it, people are using it. Is it good? No. It actually sets a really bad precedent. When he first took over X and he changed the API policies, I was arguing why we shouldn't just be cowboy developers. The argument was very hard because it was like, look, Musk is doing it with Twitter. Why do we need to spend a week on creating documentation and tools and migrations? Why do we need to handhold? Whatever. They're already paying for the licenses. It's not like they have any option. I understand from a business point of view you don't want to spend it, but like I said, that's not something I want on my head. What if you do something and you're like, oh, you know what, fuck it. People are going to pay, people are going to use it. And you end up causing like a massive outage, and then it all goes back into you. Do you want that reputation? Do you think a company can survive catastrophic failures like that? Yeah, sure, there's companies that can take 50% drop in their stock value, right? Anyone who works in any managerial position, the first thing you hear is like, oh, we need someone who's good at stakeholder management. What does that mean? Try and get your work through. And we're at a point where people don't even care about software versions or why they should be using versions. Oh, we're releasing version 115 BA. Oh, I'm going to make a QA tag for it. Yeah, so what? What did you do with it? What does it mean? How long are you supporting it for? What changed? Every time you update your product, you have to update the documentation version as well. You have to manage it. The tricky part is, things like that always will sound like overhead to the decision makers. So it's down to you to realize that we need this. UX, DevX is one of the first things that went out of the window when this period of hyper growth and aggressive expansion of features in every product, usually backed by some investment firm. Let's bring our features in, consolidate, focus more on growing customers, product-led marketing. But how are you going to do product-led growth when you have nothing? People cannot self-sign up, they cannot rely on anything. Their APIs might break tomorrow. But you know, I'm really interested to hear how do other people deal with it. Are there still companies that are way more meticulous about versions, what they release? It's not like I know everything, but based on what I hear and what I see, it's not always that good. I kind of miss the days where we're talking more about software quality engineering Like, best practices are best practices for a reason. So yeah, I would really love to hear your comments and how everyone else's workflows, experiences, and so on are. I always want to do better. Take pride in my work. Be it tracking, software. You gotta enjoy what you do and you gotta do it properly. Like an old manager of mine used to say, if there's something worth doing, it's worth overdoing. And let me know what you thought of this ride-along Rants. I thought they're better than me just being in a room, talking to a camera, or in actual traffic. But yeah, if you have any software-related questions or anything, let me know in the comments. Yeah, thanks for watching. Consider this the 30 subscriber special. And yeah, have a good one.